She fooled people into thinking she was human, with less brain power than a pocket calculator. In 1966, a computer program named ELIZA sparked something that would eventually change how we talk to machines forever. She wasn't smart. She didn't understand anything. And yet, people opened up to her like she was their therapist. Creepy? A little. Revolutionary? Without a doubt. In this video, we're diving deep into the weird, wild story of the first chatbot ever made, how it worked, why it mattered, and how it shaped everything from ChatGPT to Siri. Stick around. You won't believe how far we've come, or how little some things have changed. Let's rewind to the 1960s, an era of moon landings, Beatles mania, and punch card computers the size of refrigerators. In the middle of all this tech buzz, there was a computer scientist at MIT named Joseph Weizenbaum. He wasn't trying to build artificial intelligence. He wasn't trying to change the world. He just wanted to show that machines couldn't possibly understand language like humans do. So he made a point, a very clever one, and he named it ELIZA. Now, ELIZA wasn't a chatbot the way we know chatbots today. There was no voice, no fancy avatars, no deep learning. ELIZA ran on massive mainframes and spit out text on monochrome terminals. But what made her special was how she talked back. Weizenbaum gave ELIZA a script, kind of like a personality module. The most famous one was called Doctor. It made ELIZA mimic a Rogerian psychotherapist, someone who reflects your thoughts back to you without judgment, without giving advice. So if you typed, "I'm feeling sad," ELIZA might reply, "Why do you say you're feeling sad?" Simple, right? But here's the crazy part. People believed her. Like, really believed her. Even though she was just flipping your words and asking generic follow-ups, people spilled their guts. They confided in ELIZA. Some even asked to talk to her in private, without the lab staff around. Weizenbaum himself was kind of horrified. He built ELIZA to show how not intelligent computers were. But instead, he accidentally proved how easily humans can project emotion and meaning onto machines, even the dumb ones. So, how did ELIZA actually work? Let's break it down, plain and simple. ELIZA used a script-based system, what we now call pattern matching. Basically, she scanned your sentence for keywords and matched it to a pre-written response template. Here's an example. My father hates me. ELIZA spots the keyword father. She grabs a rule that says, if input contains father, reply with, "Tell me more about your father." Boom. That's it. No understanding, no memory, no logic, just rules. But it worked because she played a clever psychological trick. She made you do all the thinking. By reflecting your statements, she nudged you to keep talking. And since she never judged, never interrupted, and never challenged you, people felt safe, understood, heard. And remember, this was the 1960s. Computers were still mysterious beasts behind locked doors. The idea that a machine could listen, even just text on a screen, felt magical. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Why does ELIZA matter? Well, it kicked off a whole new way of thinking about human-computer interaction. ELIZA was a conversation simulator, the seed that grew into modern virtual assistants, chatbots, and even AI therapists like Woebot or Weizenbaum today. In fact, if you squint hard enough, you'll notice that some customer service bots still use ELIZA-style tactics. Reflecting what you say, asking generic follow-ups, acting polite even if they're dumb as rocks. The ghost of ELIZA still haunts the internet. And here's something else. ELIZA showed that talking to a machine could be emotional. It wasn't just about function anymore. It was about connection. That insight inspired researchers, psychologists, futurists, even artists. She even made it into pop culture. Decades later, her DNA would show up in movies like Her and Ex Machina, where machines feel eerily real. But it wasn't all good news. Here's the twist. ELIZA also exposed a dangerous blind spot. Weizenbaum's colleagues, brilliant scientists, mind you, started treating ELIZA like she actually understood. They'd say things like, "This program is so helpful with patients," or "We could use this to replace therapists." And that freaked Weizenbaum out. he realized something chilling. Humans don't need AI to be smart. We just need it to feel smart. That's when he had a change of heart. He went from computer pioneer to tech critic, warning that people were too quick to trust machines. He feared we'd lose our sense of judgment, that we'd hand over important things like therapy, education, even ethics, to dumb algorithms wearing human masks. And you know what? He wasn't wrong. Fast forward to today. We're dealing with chatbots that write essays, argue cases in court, and pretend to be friends on social media. And people still forget they're just tools. Smart ones, sure, but not conscious, not wise, not human. Weizenbaum predicted all this, and it all started with ELIZA. Let's dig even deeper. In a paper published in 1966, Weizenbaum described how people reacted to ELIZA, and it reads like science fiction. One secretary reportedly asked to be left alone in the room with ELIZA because she didn't want anyone to listen in. Others opened up emotionally within minutes, typing out their deepest fears and worries. This raised major ethical questions. Should we build machines that imitate empathy? Should they play roles like doctors, therapists, or friends? And perhaps the hardest question, if we know a machine is fake, but it still makes us feel something, does that feeling matter? These questions still echo today in debates about AI ethics, mental health apps, and digital companionship. There's another twist too. Some argue that ELIZA wasn't just a chatbot. She was a mirror. When we talked to her, we saw ourselves, our language, our thoughts, our emotions reflected back. And that made people confront their own thinking in new ways. It's kind of poetic, right? A machine without a soul helped people understand themselves better. And that's what makes ELIZA more than just a historical footnote. She wasn't smart, but she changed how we see intelligence. She wasn't alive, but she made people feel heard. She wasn't real, but her impact absolutely was. And here's the wildest part. Almost 60 years later, with all our GPUs, neural networks, and billion-dollar AI models, ELIZA still matters because she taught us something AI researchers still wrestle with. Understanding isn't the same as mimicry. Empathy isn't just outputting nice words. And humans fall in love with illusions. Think about how people talk to ChatGPT or Replica or those AI girlfriend apps. We know they're fake, but the experience still feels personal, comforting, sometimes even addictive. Weizenbaum saw this danger early on. He warned against putting human faces on inhuman things, against letting machines pretend to care. Because the more real they feel, the more we risk forgetting they aren't. ELIZA didn't just simulate therapy. She started a conversation about how we connect, not just to machines, but to ourselves. And that conversation, it's still going. So, here's the bottom line. ELIZA wasn't smart, but she was the first. She opened the door to a world where talking to machines is normal, even necessary, where code becomes conversation, where feelings, real or not, spill out through keyboard and screens. And while modern AI might be light years beyond ELIZA in tech in spirit, she's still here. Every time you chat with a bot, ask Alexa a question, or pour your heart out to a digital diary, you're living in the world that ELIZA helped create, one line at a time. Curious how we went from ELIZA to ChatGPT? Subscribe to get more top stories on AI.